Hello, I'm Greg Vaughn here at the Temple of the Sacred String. I was just playing this DeArmond M75 guitar through a Fender Vaporizer Guitar Amp and a Bugera Power Soak Attenuator. What I want to talk about today is how if you'd like to buy one of these no longer made Fender Vaporizer Guitar Amps, you should also probably get some sort of attenuator to control the volume. Otherwise, it's going to be too loud for most of the club gigs you're going to want to play, let alone trying to get that cool, crunchy sound at a reasonable volume when playing at home. So the Fender Vaporizer amp is 12 watts through two 10-inch speakers. Now, that might not sound like a lot, or it's going to be too loud, but please keep in mind these are tube watts. Also, in the clip you just heard, I didn't just have the amp on 10, I stepped on the vaporizer switch, which is a foot switch that puts the amp in vaporizer mode, where it actually makes it louder than even all the controls already maxed out on 10. So in a way, yes, this amp actually goes to 11. It's a very simple layout with just volume, tone, and reverb. But there's some cool features this amp has. If I have the volume set on, say, 5, the tone is on 10, and the reverb is about 75% of the way up. By using the switch, I can go from a pretty clean sound like this step on the vaporizer and go to this. Pretty cool. Essentially, it's like I have a 2-channel amp. Now, if I turn the volume up to 10, first turn the vaporizer back off, I can get this sound. Turn the vaporizer back on. So it's actually a pretty versatile amp, despite only having 3 knobs and a foot switch. So if you'd like to get one of these cool, used, vintage, no longer made guitar amps, what I also suggest you get is some sort of attenuator so you can control the volume. What I'm using is the Bugera Power Soak Attenuator. You can buy them from Sweetwater for about $120. You can buy them through Guitar Center, through Amazon. They're pretty easy to find. But there's something kind of tricky you're also gonna need to get in order to make the whole system work. What you have to do is go out of the speaker output here on the amp and into the 8 ohm input on the attenuator, and then out of the speaker output on the attenuator back into the internal speakers in the vaporizer combo. The problem is the cable that attaches to the built-in speakers is not long enough to reach out and around and up on top of the amp to attach to the attenuator. So what I suggest you do is you can get a speaker extension cable from Sweetwater, and that has a female plug on one end and a male plug on the other end. So you can take the male plug coming out of the speakers, plug it into the female end, then take the rest of that cable, wrap it around, and plug in the male end of that into the speaker output on the attenuator. That's a kind of tricky purchase because the little speaker extension cables are not the easiest thing to find. You can find them from Sweetwater. I'm going to include a photo of the exact one I bought at the end of this video. I'll also provide a link in the description so you can buy it directly from them. What you're also going to need to get is a speaker cable to go out of the back of the Vaporizer Guitar Amp, the speaker output, and into the 8 ohm input on the back panel of the Bugera Power Soak. And then that's your whole system. You are ready to rock. So I want to talk a little bit about how the Power Soak Attenuator actually works. This knob on the front here is the volume knob that controls what's going to the speakers. This little knob here, it's a very cool feature that allows you to take the XLR out on the back panel of the unit and send that to a recording device or a PA system and separately control the volume with that little knob. So if you have your volume set on stage, for example, and your sound man wants a little bit more or a little bit less of your guitar coming through the PA system, you don't have to mess up your stage volume. You've got a separate volume for that. If you had a mic in front of your amplifier, well, then you'd have to change your volume, which would change your mix on stage. If you go direct out of the back of the unit, you don't have to deal with that problem. Now, I believe when this big volume control that controls what's going to the speaker, when this is all the way maxed out, you're actually only getting 50% of the output and volume from your amplifier. I was playing with the setting 50% of the way up, or halfway up on the attenuator, which means, of course, I'm getting 25% of my amplifier's volume. So I just want to demonstrate what it sounds like and how cool it is that you can push your amp, push those tubes, get a nice distorted tone, and play at a very low volume if you'd like, at home or even on stage. So again, here it is with the attenuator half the way up. Turn it down a little bit. All the way off, you can barely hear it. Pretty cool. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video entertaining and helpful. Please like, subscribe, and follow, and I'll see you next time. Rock on. Here's a little more vaporizer for you.